Last ski season, I ranked all of the resorts I've ever skied in Canada, and this season, I ranked all of the ski resorts I've ever skied in America, and I even put America and Canada head to head against each other to find out which country has the best skiing. But what I'm still yet to do, something you all have been asking for, is rank the Canadian and American resorts all together in one list. So today, I'm ranking my top 20 North American ski resorts of all time. Coming in at number 20 is Mount Baker. So Mount Baker isn't everyone's cup of tea, but for a lot of you, you're going to be in the comments saying Baker is number one in North America, and I understand that. And some of you are going to be like, Baker should be nowhere on this list. It all depends on your subjective experience. Baker's a super unique place. It's kind of the home of free ride snowboarding. It's absolutely incredible. The terrain at Baker's super cool. It's old school. The lifts are awesome, and the backcountry, slack country access is absolutely phenomenal. It also gets almost the most snow annually in all of North America. So there's a lot to like about Mount Baker. You're not going to get as many laps as other, resorts on this list with high-speed quads, but Baker is a sick vibe and a really, really great spot for free ride snowboarding and for skiing. So because of that, it's my number 20. Coming in at my number 19 is a Utah mountain snow basin. Snow Basin really surprised me. It's a super awesome spot. It's got one of the craziest lodges I've ever seen. And I took a poo on a golden toilet, which was pretty awesome. But overall, the terrain was amazing, and that's what really matters. I skied a run called No Name all day, and it was just long, super long fall line tree skiing in fresh snow. No one was on the mountain. It was dead. But Snow Basin is a big spot. It trends a little more mellow, but it's super, super fun and is a little more like off the beaten path than some of the classic Utah, resorts that are more renowned. So I think Snow Basin was an awesome all-rounder spot for great skiing. At number 18, Canadian one, Panorama. Panorama is hands down one of the best, hardest charging fall line skiing resorts in all of North America. It's super steep wherever you look. Every run is steep. The groomers, they go super hard. Really good skiers come out of Panorama. They've got the Taten Bowl area, which is accessed by a snowcat, or you can boot pack up it. It's super fun. And the Extreme Dream Zone is also very, very intense. Panorama lacks consistent deep snowfall, but honestly, the terrain is so cool and so aggressive that I just loved it. And the mountain ranges all around are also absolutely gorgeous. So Panorama, definitely pretty high on the list for me. Coming in at number 17 is Aspen Highlands. I mean, Aspen is an absolutely gorgeous spot. The views of the Maroon Bells, and Highlands was a super special resort. It is just a go, go, go kind of resort. You've got the deep temerity zone. You've got the Highlands Bowl. Just the mix of all of it was cool. It was kind of like this, felt like a smaller, more local hill packed into like one of the world's most expensive and bougiest ski destinations. A lot of fun skiing, a lot of hard charging fall line skiing, just a really fun spot to be in. You can tack on laps on the Highland Bowl, get a bit of cardio, and ski super fun steep lines with amazing views. Absolutely loved Aspen Highlands. Number 16, Crested Butte. Crested Butte, such a sick resort with so many different layers. You can go right up to the peak at Crested Butte and ski this massive, gnarly line from top to bottom. So long, so much diversity in terrain, so much expert, fun terrain. Crested Butte just lacks a lot of snowfall, so you're not getting super deep storms. But I thought the town was one of the better vibes of the U.S. places I visited, and such a fun variety in aggressive mixed terrain for the advanced skier. Very fun spot to be. I really, really enjoyed Crested Butte. At number 15, Silverton. Silverton is ranked so high for me in North America because it's just one of the most unique ski resort experiences I've ever had. Every run is pretty much a boot pack. A lot of this season you have to go with guides because the Colorado snowpack is so dangerous. There's one chairlift, you hike up and you ski pow every run on the way down. It's super unique, small, local western town. Nothing was open, like just very, very cool experience and something that you rarely see in skiing these days. So like the true Wild West of skiing. I think Silverton is a bucket lister for everyone. And I just thought it was so cool and unique. And that's why I feel like it was ranked so high for me. At number 14 is Big Sky, Montana. Big Sky's got the terrain. I absolutely love skiing the headwaters area. The Lone Peak Tram, absolutely sick. There's tons of terrain off the back. I didn't love the vibe at Big Sky for whatever reason. It was pretty cold, super windblown, which I actually do like. But I feel like there's just so much infrastructure and money poured into it. It just had a funny feel for me. But the terrain itself, all of that aside, absolutely phenomenal terrain at Big Sky. And it's definitely a place that's worthy of exploring. And I loved exploring, would love to go back. I just wish you didn't have to pay for laps every time you went up the Lone Peak Tram to actually ski the entire mountain. I hate when stuff is kind of gate kept like that. At number 13 for me is Solitude. Solitude is in Utah. They get loads and loads of snow, and this one's a super cool mountain to me. Other people don't necessarily think it's all that amazing, but I thought the upper areas, like above the Honeycomb Bowl, the ridge, were pretty crazy. I never got to ski them, but I saw them. The Honeycomb area was absolutely loaded with POW when I was there, and I think it's just a sleeper mountain where you can find POW in many different directions, days and days after a storm, and that's rare at a lot of these busy mountains these days, and I just love the flow of it. I still like him smiling, thinking about how fun the flow was, kind of like skiing up, skiing down Milk Run, and then connecting back to all these sweet lines every time you came back in. So Solitude really left a really good taste in my mouth. Number 12, WH2O, otherly known as Whitewater. Whitewater gets some of the most snow in BC, and it is amazing. It's a super, super chill mountain located in Nelson, BC. It gets absolutely nuked and has some of the best tree skiing in the province. You've got crazy slack country off all sides. They put in a new lift this year. You can hike up Weimer Peak. It's a badass mountain. Everyone has to try Whitewater. I think it's awesome, and it hasn't really been developed so much that the heart's been ripped out of it. It's a true ski mountain, and it is so fun to ride. Whitewater, super close to my heart. Number 11, Sunshine Village. Sunshine Village is one of the most gorgeous mountains in all of skiing, and it's also such an approachable mountain for all different skill levels. I went on an awesome trip with Laura there, and she absolutely loves skiing the Bye Bye Bowl. But Sunshine's also hiding some of the gnarliest terrain in the country with Delirium Dive and all the chutes in the Wild West. Sunshine, when it's on, is really, really, really on. Sunshine's a beautiful place to be and a really hardcore place to ski. And in the spring, it's awesome. The season starts early and it finishes late. You can't really beat that. At number 10, Arapahoe Basin in Colorado. A Basin, really earned a spot in my heart. It just felt so local, but still was developed enough to get a bunch of laps. The terrain was really fun. It was really direct. Lots of good fall line skiing. Lots of super aggressive lines. I had a bunch of fun in the steep gullies and loved the views there. I loved everything about that spot. There's no on mountain accommodation. It's a classic, good old ski hill that still has some heart and soul left in there, and is a really, really fun place to ride for people of all skill levels. Views are good, runs are good. A Basin, definitely a great spot. Coming in at number 9 is Lake Louise. So Lake Louise, postcard spot, absolutely gorgeous. Also has tons of aggressive terrain. I think Lake Louise is some of the best skiing in Canada, especially when the snow's falling. But the Rockies in Canada get kind of that lighter, smaller snowfalls instead of these massive dumps that we get on the coast or in the interior. The backside at Lake Louise is one of the most spiritual spots you can ski in all of North America. It is gorgeous. So fun, steep, so many different line options, and Lake Louise just has tons of terrain, and it does a really good job at spreading you out. It doesn't feel busy. You feel like you really get spread out nicely no matter what time of the year or what day it is when you're skiing, and when you get a blue sky day there, you're just going to be blown away. Coming in at number 8 for me is Telluride, and Telluride is kind of like the Lake Louise of America to me. Also super scenic, but lacks, consistent storms and snowfall. Lots of fun steep terrain at Telluride. You can hike up Palomar Peak. So much fun skiing to be done, and just so scenic. Everywhere you look is just unbelievable. Absolutely loved Telluride, but couldn't rank it any higher because of just the lack of POW, and powder is the most important thing to me. Coming in at number 7 in North America for me is Revelstoke Mountain Resort. Revelstoke has the highest vertical drop in all of North America. Honestly, an unbelievable spot to ski. I finally got some Revi Powdays and felt the magic in the opening day of last season. The slack country at Revelstoke's bar none amazing, and the backcountry access, if you got a sled or you're willing to hike, going to Rogers Pass is incredible. Lots of the best skiers in BC, they all just post up in Revelstoke and ski and film there. It's really the spot to be. I think Revelstoke as a resort just lacks a little bit of like better infrastructure in terms of like skier flow. They could have like done a few different lifts, different ways to give you more access, easier access to the different zones of the mountain. But having that kind of like remote feel, and like when you go ski off the, you know, back of Greeley Bowl through the trees, you feel like you get real out there in Revelstoke, which is cool. So it's a double-edged sword that it wasn't developed as well as I think it could have been. But Revi, it's an awesome mountain. Everyone's definitely got to try it. Coming in at number 6 for me is Red Mountain. Red Mountain has some of the most acres per skier in BC. It's still not all that busy of a spot, but they've marketed it pretty hard recently and it's getting busier. You don't have any high-speed quads at Red. It's got a pretty classic feel and it's cool. You can ski 360 off anywhere on the mountain. I think what's so cool about Red Mountain to me, it's not the views. The views are honestly nothing to write home about. It's the terrain. It's got some of like the coolest free riding, flowy terrain I've ever seen. There's just so many cool natural features all over the runs, and it gets nuked with light and dry snow. There's such good POW skiing at Red Mountain. Really fun, easy access slack country hits as well. Red is a sweet mountain, and that mix of like good vibe and mountain culture with really good skiing for all levels. Also with like mixed with that old school vibe. It's got that charm. Red's got the charm, and it's a place that I really love. Coming in at number 5 for me is Fernie. Fernie is a wicked mountain to ski, and it's one of those spots you can go with your whole family and everyone's going to enjoy themselves. I've been there with the boys. We sent it hard, super fun. I've been there with Laura. We had a more relaxed time, but still super fun. Lots of places to progress, challenge yourself, and enjoy. The Fernie backcountry and slack country is absolutely phenomenal as well. I think Fernie has weird kind of flow. You have to do a lot of traversing, which is odd, but I really love those long top to bottom runs where you get a mix of a good kind of steep powder run, and then you get on a nice groomer, zip to the bottom, and take a couple chairs back up. You know, if they got a big gondola right to the top at one point, that would be pretty sick. It would really open a lot of doors and a couple chairs going different directions. But I think Fernie, for me, the mix of kind of the right amount of development with a really kind of fun town with quite a bit to do and just really good mixed bag skiing makes that a spot that I love to go to. I'm a huge Fernie advocate, and it's one of my favorite places to ski. Coming in at number 4 is Jackson Hole. Jackson, it's just a super fun resort. You've got legendary runs like Corbett's, but all of the other advanced terrain, hike-to terrain, makes it super special. Jackson is home to probably the best power run in North America on a ski resort, which is up the tram, you know, down the bowl, into the Hobacks, down to the bottom. So long, so fun. So much, you know, good POW skiing at Jackson. The slack country access is also bar none. Right off the back, ski around, back up the tram. So there's lots of options for the expert skier to really crush it at Jackson. It is pretty developed, and like there's a lot of money that gets poured into Jackson. Without knowing someone, I wouldn't have even had a spot there to sleep in my van. They didn't really offer any parking lots or anything that made sense that I could find. But as a whole, Jackson, terrain-wise, super, super sick spot. One of my favorites of all time. Coming in at number 3, y'all probably knew this was coming. Kicking Horse, British Columbia. Kicking Horse, one of the most striking resorts visually and the most terrifying resorts you'll ever ski at in North America. Just the mix of the views and the insane terrain are enough to just blow your mind. Kicking Horse can challenge literally any skier, and kind of the magic of it is there's just one gondola and you kind of just hike up T1, T2, Ozone. You hike to all these areas and you ski down and you get these beauty long runs, carve on the way down, you hit the groomer, you get like big, long, steep runs, then you'll get some bumps, then you'll get to carve, then you hit the gondola again, you go right back up. Yes, the infrastructure at Kicking Horse is definitely lacking. They could, use some more chairs, this and that, but I think just having the gondola and that barrier to entry of having to be like an expert skier makes it a super, super cool resort as a whole. And it's one of those places where even when the conditions have been kind of trash, I have a lot of fun there because I kind of like spooking myself a little bit. And yeah, Kicking Horse Bucks, definitely my number 3. Love that spot. Coming in at number 2, I needed to put these two ones together because it's hard to keep them apart, but that's Snowbird and Alta. They were close to being number 1 for me, but Snowbird and Alta are number 2 on my list. Both of them phenomenal mountains. There's so much pow. They get so much dry snow. The terrain is absolutely insane. Snowbird is just like the most fall line direct, steep skiing right off a lift I've ever seen. You get off that tram and you're just having so much fun on every line, chute, trees, mineral basin. It's all just so freaking fun. And Alta, skier's dream minus all the traversing, which kind of sucks, but lots of good skiing on Alta. You go into Catherine's, you've got the castle, you've got so much really, really fun terrain at Alta and at Snowbird. I could spend the rest of my life skiing those two mountains and I'd have no problem. Freaking love those spots. Definitely a reason that they're so high on everyone's list. But finally, my number 1, I know you're all going to hate me for this in the comments, but it's Whistler Blackcomb. And yes, I do live here, and yes, it's my home resort, but keep this in mind. It's my home resort because I choose for it to be my home resort. My job is to film skiing, and I think there's no better place to film skiing than in Whistler Blackcomb. I've got the access to amazing backcountry, consistent big storms, and 8,000 plus acres of terrain across 2 amazing avalanche controlled mountains with so much variety in terrain it could make your brain melt. So yeah, Whistler is genuinely my favorite resort in all of North America, and there's lots to hate about Whistler. There's crowds, but all of these resorts, including number 2, Snowbird, had crazy ass crowds on a POW day. Whistler is so crowded on POW days. Crowds come with population growth and an increase in the popularity of the sport. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that across all resorts. The other thing people hate about Whistler is the weather and the elephant snot snow and this or that. And when it comes to snow, honestly, any fresh snow I'm happy with. I've been in Utah for a terrible 2 weeks where it was icy, crusty, and I had to leave to then come back to try and hit fresh snow. It's no different in Whistler. You have really bad weeks and you have really good weeks. The key to a Whistler season or a coastal season being a success is to have a flexible job or career and never miss the good storm days. So when you have the weather windows, it's going to be phenomenal. I also think being in the Coast Mountains and having a really predictable snowpack for backcountry skiing is a lot more fun because you can just ski more lines more often and have a better time in the backcountry on the days where it isn't snowing on the resort, right? So if you're not skiing POW on the resort, you go ski POW in the backcountry, and there's always good snow if you find the right aspect somewhere on the mountain or off the mountain. The accessibility at Whistler is super easy. It's one of the only resorts you can live in the physical village and ski 2 amazing massive mountains. You can't live at the base of Alta or Snowbird, although you can drive up pretty quick, but you are dealing with traffic. Whistler is special. Whistler is a really, really special place. And if you can tough out the adversities, you are going to be blessed with some of the best mixed bag skiing, honestly, in the world. It's an incredible spot to be in. Of course, I know tons of pro skiers and ski lovers have moved away, and that's just because your preference changed, Maybe you want to do more sled skiing. Maybe you want somewhere that's more family focused. Maybe you want more consistent weather and sunshine. There's plenty of reasons that Whistler is probably not the mountain for you, but for me, it's without a doubt my number 1 ski resort. And like I said, my job is to film skiing. I could choose to live anywhere in North America for the season, and I choose to always stay in Whistler Blackcomb. It's because it's my favorite, That's it. Let me know in the comments how much you hate me for making Whistler my number 1 resort in North America, but also let me know in the comments what your top 20 North American ski resorts are, or the top resorts of whatever you've been lucky enough to ski and visit. There's no such thing as a bad resort. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want to learn more about these resorts, you can check out my series of my first time skiing, at XYZ Resort. Got tons of those videos. I've got review videos for all of the resorts in Canada, and I also have more deep ranking lists for Canada and the US separately, which you can check out. And I promise I'm going to ski more resorts in Canada and more resorts in the US because there's tons that I've missed. And the more I ski, the bigger I can make these rankings list every single year for you guys. And it's a lot of fun. So let me know in the comments what your top 10 or top 20 ski mountains in North America are. I'd love to hear it. I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully we'll be on snow. Sayonara, and stay spicy, folks.